Alright, it's been a while since I streamed on Twitch. I don't actually see my in Diablo channel of Twitch. I don't see my stream. Maybe I'm not on. Guess we'll find out. Gotta post the link in Discord. Ah, now I see it. Took a while. Alright. So I posted in Discord. So I was out of Twitch, actually busy doing something else. And besides something else, I was also developing the mod third chapter. Hope you've been doing well. How are you doing? What? That's new. Twitch tells me there's a shield mode. If you want to stop harassing messages or hateful messages being spammed, alright, that's very modern problem. Hope we don't get that. So why I decided to stream is I decided to get back to it, and I felt lazy to answer Warwick's post about the think that should go a different way for the Hell 3. Let's talk about that. Also, today I saw the similar posts from Aston here. I'm not showing them here because I don't want to show it. But it seems he played the Hell 2 and all that feedback was derived from the Hell 2. So I'll just concentrate on the Hell 3, I suppose, and I hope it's based on the Hell 3 and the actual experience. Yeah, later on I will, as always, upload this to YouTube, which I consider main, for now at least, main platform for video content. So if you want to ask something, go ahead, ask that in the commentary section. I hope you can hear me, by the way. I did some testing in OBS and it seemed fine so far. Alright, the question is it too late to go back to only 4 difficulty modes and limit the character level cap it? I think his music's too loud. Unlimited character level cap at 60. That's definitely not happening. For many years, I didn't like the difficulty cap 3 in original Diablo. In single player, there's only one difficulty, and it's too short. 3 difficulties. It kind of felt too short for me. Back in the day, I decided to just prolong the lifespan of characters by slowing them down experience-wise, but it created the well-known problem of your character slowing down once you just get on purgatory. And somewhere around Doom difficulty it would catch up the pace, but that start or first half of purgatory was dragging too slow. I believe by now it's fixed, more or less. And the cap of level 60 is out of the question, because by now I spent a lot of time preparing and then fine-tuning the game to treat level 150 as max. Also had this idea, if you pick a certain combination of traits well hidden by covetous devs, you can just increase the cap by 200 or something, but so far it has not been implemented. But yeah, 150 is definitely the cap. I'm not removing it, going it down. I think your suggestion genuinely comes from either comparing it to Beelzebub experience or just thinking ahead not too far, basing on the expectations on the previous Doom of the Hell 2 Doom difficulty. I can assure you I did a lot of job and Excel works in experience chart table. I got my source code reworked a lot, and I mean source code, not the source code as in code, but my design documents. So everything concerning the experience charts was heavily reworked, and it took about 3 revisions. The second one was, I wasn't in a hurry to expand it to third rework it. I just amassed enough feedback, and then third revision was born, and right now I think it's okay. I think when you get on Doom, there are specific checks and conditions that make it it's actually technically difficult to explain. Alright, somewhere after level 41 in the Hell 2, the experience was gaining up more. If you picture a logarithmic chart, you needed more and more and more experience on 42, 43, and by level 50, and it required the most of it. So the pace technically was broken, and I had to continue that trend. And it resulted naturally that the amount of time you spend reaching level 51 from 50, it was the same as the time you spent from going from 49 to 50, and that pace was too slow. And additionally, there's a problem of it's not a problem, but Now it's something you have to live with. There are just no ways of improving your experience with affixes and perks, whatever. So it has to be balanced better. And third division fixes that. So I think it should be fine, but it will be slow, but not excruciatingly slow. Also, I don't think a player absolutely has to go beyond like third or fourth difficulty mode, where it was mainly mandatory in the Hell 2. Right here, it doesn't have any extra content that makes you want to go ahead. The content will be, it's going to be delivered slowly, day by day, month by month, I hope. Right now there is much less content than you would hope to see later, like a year from now. And even though none of it will actually help you go faster with experience, the adventure in the path itself will be more fun and exciting. You will be finding more things that just keep you going. But for now, it's too early to say, oh, it's gonna be boring or something like this. My goal is to make experience after Doom, Crucible, and Torment difficulties actually more fun and immersive than what you experienced before, but it will take time. Short answer, I'm not going back to level 150, level 60 cap. It's never been actually a limit. In 4 difficulty modes, everything can be balanced well, but in time. Same story was with the Hell 2, and I have had enough people not believing it will be anything worth playing. Like, they were saying, oh, the Hell 1 was perfect and the Hell 2 is just, it's not gonna make it, it's too much, it's this and that, nothing's gonna happen. But at the very least, now the Hell 2 is not worse than the Hell 1, and in many ways it's better. And personally, I can't stand the Hell 1 by now. It's just little, ugly, and clunky. Well, not clunky, but my eyes hurt looking at it. I want more freedom of choice. It decides all of that under the hood, what's going on with the engine and the design and balance for you, for the player, and it doesn't give you enough freedom. And I always wanted to take these things out and allow a player to fine-tune what they want to do with the game, with their player, with their character. So the Hell 2 lets you go further with that, and the Hell 3 is supposed to let you go even further with that. What would be fresh else? Other than that, for me, what would be fresh, you say? Relics, tokens, artifacts, charm slots. Charm slots. Charm slot. Oh, it's the one on the opposite side of the head where the amulet is. Thing is, when you add something like that, you essentially add a slot in your inventory, and what you put in there is definitely not going to bring your power of the character down, so it will up and increase your power. But to maintain already established balance, if it is already established, you will have to compensate, and this is where we meet the nerfs. So when I up something and you start killing stuff, or you become too tanky, or your spells become way too powerful and everything melts disappointingly fast under your spells, that's when that happens. And then you me as designer have to nerf it. So before that is brought to reality, I have to know, do I want it? What will be the consequences? How do I want to compensate it? What will I nerf? For now, I have not made a full decision. I do have it in the list of features that there can be some inventory items, maybe a special inventory tab where you put something like charms, and you can't put regular items in there, but it's just for charms. I hate to make and push players cluttering their inventory as they do in Diablo 2. It would be okay if it was a one what was it? What was that word? Slot or something? Cell, one cell big item. But if you can just put them all in your inventory and there is no place for anything else, it's, for me, that's a problem. As a player, I don't want to play that way. So I'd rather avoid that. Actually, I have a list that I didn't post and didn't show to anyone. It's this wild idea list where you start brainstorming your own self and writing down ideas, no matter how stupid or just delusional even they are. Just write it down and then just sort them out. And some of those ideas are pretty sick. Some of them I understand I will never be able to implement something like this because it's too time consuming or it would require a huge team, and time is a factor you have to take into consideration. But a portion of these ideas, and at least do mention glyphs, runes, something that you can, I call it disassemble. You take open Griswold's tab, and the one that doesn't exist right now, and for a price he will disassemble an item into materials of brass type, wood, iron, steel, hardened steel, leather, and so forth. And then you would be able to, in another tab of his, which also doesn't exist, just combine them, and for a price he will make certain type of item that you don't really have now, just to give it a unique feel. And then you would be able to enchant those items at Adria, also for a price. That's one direction. The other direction is extra materials that can be socketed into items. Maybe more grades of sockets, but not much. I don't think I would want to go above 15. Right now we got 10, X, and so far I'm fine. I can always add more, but I'm not sure I have to. Shared stash. Ooh, about shared stash. It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. A good portion of decisions I made already the last few years are assuming and accepting the absence of shared stash. So probably there will be more items that will just morph around, or something else will happen, or they will be unequipable, or cause technical problems of unpredictable nature when you use hex cheats and transfer them to other players. I don't know. It had to be done. I was actually pro. I told that probably many times already. I was pro shared stash, and then after that, I was just rooting for. Holy cow! Wait a minute, I need to go. I'm having stew cook. Now, where was I? Shared stash, yes. I don't think that's happening, yeah. I just don't think that's happening. Next, maps in last difficulty. That, you assume you can get to last difficulty. That is undecided as well. In the Hell 2, last difficulty was 3rd. And 9th difficulty right now, it will take a lot of time. I kept Uber bosses on Doom in multiplayer for now, but I think I'll have to just push them further to difficulty 6 or 7, and maybe even further, because these pushing the difficulty. I mean, these guys are difficulty spikes in the nature. So you're just playing normally, and let's say the average difficulty, not average. Well, let's say it's about 6 to 8 in difficulty points, in abstract points, and then you come across an Uber boss with a pack, and it's suddenly 17, and that's too much. So if you adjust your character power to that Uber boss, naturally your power becomes too much for the rest of the game, and that creates a problem. So either you feel okay, either you allow a player, speaking about myself as a designer, either you allow a player to feel okay with most of the content, and they suck against super bosses alone, or they feel okay, somewhat okay against super bosses, and the rest of the content is way too easy. That's where, so, first version of this universe, they're okay with most of the content, but Uber bosses are too tough. They can, in that case, first, cheat. Second, drop the game. Third, do the content and avoid bosses. Fourth version, which was the go-to version, this is how I had envisioned it. They will bring in friends, and together they will feel good, and they will be able to beat those bosses. But thinking that is kind of naive, because people usually play alone, not in groups. Or you have to make it something dangerous and actually push them to play together. Like in permadeath modes, it becomes important that nobody dies and together you are stronger. But here, no, not happening. So the health you actually allowed to somewhat become too powerful for the main content and to do uber bosses. And at this point, another problem arises. I get messages like, hey, how about we add fourth difficulty? Because the Doom is kind of easy right now for me. And this is where it's important to understand I allowed it to be too easy. Because I added perks, more item slots, synergies, and there we go. What was balanced well for the Hell 1 became, for third difficulty, you were balanced quite well there. But here, you got more power, and here it can become too easy. So I had to kill those two birds with one stone. Right now, I'm not working with the Hell 2, I'm working with the Hell 3. And one of those birds was prevent the game from becoming easy ever. I mean, I decided to go unapologetic. I knew there would be whining, complaining about this, but I decided I'm gonna hold my ground dead still and never allow this to happen again, where player can go and reach a level where the last difficulty is too easy. So that's 1 and 2. I actually forgot what 2 was. Great. Memory leaks. That's what you call memory leak in programming, probably. While you were working with one part, the second one starts leaking, and you, what? You think you got it, but no. I'll get back to it if I remember. Crafting with recipes. Recipes to be found. I think that would be quite fucking easy to do that, actually. But it's important to first write down the recipes and define level of their power. That's the most important part. I wouldn't want them to become more powerful than other types of items, like socketed, magic, rare, unique, even set items. If they become more powerful, people will venture forward and forget about everything else and concentrate on the recipes. That's bad design. I wouldn't want to do that. If those recipes are less powerful than other types of items, that will create another incident. Nobody will just care about these recipes because they are too weak, and you don't want weak. As a player, you always want powerful. I need more. That's the motivation. So first thing is write down write down the exact list. Keep working on it. Define the power when they become available, and at each level of their availability, what kind of power they will have. If you have this list, it's easy. So what next? I don't think I understand. Materials collected from monsters and dungeon objects, and that refers to the recipes, I think. Recipes, oh yeah, probably so. Recipes processed materials collected from monsters, dungeon objects, dismantled from items, where magic oh. Magic rare unique set items give increasingly higher tier or more materials. Well, this is where you just lose me. I don't think they are better, they are different. This is my design, and it's fundamental flaw to think that in the hell these items are more powerful. In games, usually yes, that would mean magics are least powerful, then more powerful rares, then uniques, and then set items or some legendaries. No, it doesn't work like that here. And Motaka was on my ass for a very long time, and I very well made sure that cursed uniques will probably be the best possible items you can acquire. I'm not done working with the ethics table with just basic magic items, but my goal is to make each line of affixes, each effect have late game cursed superior cursed affix that just beats everything else, but it's rare. That's like item power. That's the maximum item power. It's actually 110 or 120% item power. And you probably remember my system of balancing. When I create an item, unique or whatever, it has to have the item power to 200%. So you can find more of these, but since cursed items will be so rare, and the double cursed items will be so rare, even more rare, you will have to just go ahead and sweat a lot to find these, and sweat even more to find good versions of them. Plus, right now I've designed most of the base item lines so that there will be level 300 base items that will be available only from the Uber Diablo on Inferno. And in the future possibly we'll be able to work with these items and make them even more powerful. And probably there will be no unique space on them. So something like that. I'll just want to complement difficult or hard to reach monsters, bosses. Make that formula with risk and reward to feel better for player. It's easier said than done, but step by step we should get there. So crafting, I can't say anything about this right now. It's the waits us ahead. But the game of actually dismantling stuff and combining them into something that gives you more power is actually quite immersive and addictive. I actually played this game called Dismantle, and it made me disappear from the face of the earth for like 2 or 3 days. Let's go next. Class skills. I have to be honest, even if it sounds disrespectful. I think this is like a childish thing. You make your total let's say you're playing like something like a barbarian character and get a 200 mole, and you have a, I don't know, bash skill or something like hits harder, and that bash skill gives you knockback effect, a special cool ass sound, and you do like plus 100% damage, and you spend like 2 mana each hit. Well, for me that is cheap. First of all, you will have to adjust the game's balance again, readjust again, to stop these skills from becoming too powerful. And unless you spend a mother load of time doing that, you're gonna wind up with bullshit balance that will just create too thick monsters, and you will be either you met with a stone wall on less difficulty or somewhere along the way, or you'll just end up having a handful of skills working and others will just greatly suck. Or yes, possibly if you don't adjust anything there will be too much power, and again the L2 problem will just pop up in all beauty. Too much power, and that's a really bad thing. It's very difficult to explain it to player. If a player doesn't work on a mod or a game, I don't think that just can be understood really. I didn't understand this, I think till year 2007. So first year of modding, I was like, oh, I need a sword, a big ass sword with gazillion damage and a plus 900, 2000 damage. That is so cool. And then everything falls apart and you add more hit points to monsters, and it's just bullshit game because they keep dancing in stun while you're hitting them. Just everything has to work together, the whole system. Quite a few mods actually add those numbers and forget about the mechanics and the dynamics of the battle, and end up breaking that beauty that has to work. Every part of the balance, all these mechanics have to work together. You forget one thing, maybe it will forgive you. You forget more and keep forgetting more and more and more, you'll create just trash. So skills, when you think about this, first they are very dangerous. They can break balance easily. Adding them, assigning icons, sound effects. Well, we still got 6 classes and about 4 subclasses for each. Let's say if we add for all 6 classes we had like, you know, 6 skills per each class. I have to do 36. In all probability I would just be able to complete the design list in about 2-3 weeks, and then it would have to be coded, checked, tested, fixed, because it never ends up being working correctly the first time. Well, it would take probably 2 months to do something like that. That's a realistic. Maybe 1 month if we just really push forward and work like 5-6 hours a day. But it's doable. I have no doubt about this. We can do it. But personally, first of all, emotionally, I just don't want to do it because there are so many those passive skills we call perks, and they actually do that, and they give you more power, fine tuning. You don't get it's a different philosophy actually, giving you a skill that already has everything a perk line would have when you just pump it to the max, and then you can use that perk line or switch to another one, but you don't use them all at once, right? It's really different here. It's a different philosophy. I know Diablo 3 took it further. So you could what was it? I remember how Diablo 2 works, but Diablo 3 you could just even pick those skills like before a combat. You didn't even have to just put really put points in there. Something like that. I actually bought Diablo 3 and I played it for a couple of days. But I couldn't make myself go further. If I could, I would have known better what it is. Man, you can. It's really easy to just keep going on and on and on about this. It's it's not a small topic. I could just talk for a day about each of those. You probably didn't come up with the list just all at once. It took some time, and you were just writing them out and then working on your list. Well, I don't want to say no, and I don't want to say yes. I'll say I don't know about skills. We'll probably at some point before release, which isn't happening anytime soon. Uh, Maybe we'll discuss it and find a way to just add skills and improve the variability of the mod further. But right now, I don't know. Great. Next. Oh, I skipped that. Maps in last difficulty. Yes, that's interesting. But did I skip that? I already forgot that. Oh. I actually forgot if I spoke about maps in last difficulty. Well, maps, I made myself a note that I have to go and study, see and read about this. It's not something simple. There are maps in Path of Exile, and there are maps in Diablo 2. There is a mod called Project Diablo 2, I think, that maps there. And this system is something that greatly prolongs the pain and pleasure. It's solely a replayability boosting material, these mechanics. So right now I don't know much about it. Basically I don't know anything, but I'll have to study it and then I will be able to answer that. Right now I just can't. The other day when I made a note in the feature list, I was feeling sick and I just made note and went to sleep. So later on that. Crafting with recipes. Oh yeah, I spoke about that. I spoke about that for probably half an hour, and at the same time I feel like I said nothing. I mean, there are games solely made around crafting items, and it's like a huge part of the game. The whole game can be built around it. So making this a part of the game will not be something small. I'm sure you can make it something, but to make it a quality thing, you will have to just work a lot, learn a lot, experiment, listen to feedback, and so on. So I am open to ideas regarding it. I welcome it. Right now I will not be able to work with that actually, but I am open, and I hope there will be time when we can work together and create something awesome, work on it and make it even better. Just keep polishing, even if it's the smallest detail. Discuss it together openly and make it something enjoyable in the end. So next, traits being grouped into 3 categories. Traits being grouped into 3 categories. Weak, medium, and strong, based on the impact in the game. I'm using this system, but I never actually formed it into words or a guide or a text that explains it, so it's practically inside my head, which is a bad thing if you ask me, because I'm a lazy ass and I should have just declared all these rules. I hope I will. Everything takes time. So right now I'm doing the best I can, but until release I am open to discussion, and all that. Things can change a lot. I won't let item morphing or anything of that style stop me from improving things, so let's stop. I'm almost finished. Elaborate more on the token charm. New equip. Oh, this is being explained there about item slots. Rarely drop it from last difficulty monsters only. Oh. That might be a bit of a problem. I don't expect, and I will say I don't expect reasonably, most people will get the last difficulty. I don't want it to make, like, again, mandatory. In the Health 2, it wasn't easy, but you could get there. But I'm designing the Health 3 so that fewer people will actually make it. Plain legit, of course. It's for those who want both reliability, where there are many factors that change your gameplay. We all know the variability level is quite crazy, but there are people who want to try this and that. You want to go ahead and play like Bombardier, throw the flasks, and then go throw them traps like Trapper. You want to go and spell some spells, check some kinetics as Scion, then use your auras as Devastator, and then combine all the traits and use certain GCs and on and on and on. But there are also people who want to make their decision, try a few, then pick something they like, and then just keep going on forward and forward and forward. There are people who naturally just simply hate playing casters, which is I'm one of them. I don't enjoy that. There are people who want to just use Archer, classic one arrow, and all the gameplay built around that. There are people who just want to go melee, sword and shield, or axe, or club, or staff, and they'll keep playing that for months, maybe even years. And the Hell 2 did not allow them those second category. If you just such people just would arrive at the end of Doom and they would keep farming and playing, and there's nothing else to want. You have conquered the third difficulty. There is no challenge ahead of you. You can get more powerful items. You can go sightseeing, get your face ruined. That was the end. The only thing you could do basically was just keep doing, and it was becoming boring and stale. So third chapter tries to fix that and give those people who don't want to just jump back to the beginning and try something different. It attempts to let them live on, to let their adventure last, and basically make it endless, because it should be very, very, very long time and much effort for a player to get to the last difficulty, and especially to the end of last difficulty. There are a few problems that arise from this decision as well. I understand that. It's like, if I make cursed affixes only appear in the second half of last difficulty, almost nobody will actually find them because they don't get there, right? And you have to either introduce them earlier without making them mandatory as well to be able to get there where you would get them in the first place, or you will have to just nerf the difficulty of monsters to allow more people to get there. Still open to discussion, but this is a problem that will arise at a certain point. Right now, I think either got people who hack the mod or go to the last difficulty, and it's bullshit. They can't provide feedback, and apart from purely technical, and those who just move on forward naturally. The mod is probably only beginning for most of them right now, or they haven't even arrived, or haven't decided to just move on from the Hell 2 to the Hell 3. But right now I think it's level difficulty 3 and 4, what I can see. We'll see later. Anything of that type, if it gets added, it will allow players to just put on more power. If it goes further than what's allowed right now. That types of specific items: trinket, talisman, bandage, moonstone, handle, totem. Many, quite many. Quite many. Well, we'll see about this. I don't know. I can't answer the extra item slots. It should be possible. It doesn't take much time, but what's more important is, do we really need that, and what it's gonna be. In late 2017, I think, I asked Dragon, what if we add a few other item slots? And he was like, okay. So I decided, let's have belt, boots, and gloves like Diablo 2. And he said, okay, and this was implemented in a matter of a day. Then I worked with the inventory pictures, fixed few bugs, testing, it was done quite fast. That's actually how the Hell 2 was forked from the Hell 1. First thing I added was, I think it was two-handed weapons, like swords and big clubs, polearms. That's where the Hell 2 began. Things like these are easy to add, but can be quite difficult to adjust and balance. But let's move on. Bonuses from these items. Class specific skills. Ooh, that's a lot of work. Character visual customization. Different terrain colors. Yeah, terrain colors. I made extra colors for characters who use specific traits. Scion. Axworld, I think. And Hydromancer. But I don't really. It has no, this system has has its limits. Really, there are only so many colors you can create. Color themes. Like we got the gray line, red, orange, blue, crimson, and beige. Then there are 4 types of bright colors: red, orange, blue, and yellowish. That's it. Everything else you have to use dungeon level colors, and these change a lot. You can't use them unless you want to have your character change color every time you switch dungeon level. Even that would be hard to master and work with. By now I think I did pretty much everything I could with color translations. Auras added from this. Yeah, that seems complicated. Perk line bonuses? That's kinda new. I didn't think about. I thought about, creating affixes that boost an affix certain levels, amount of levels, or work like the original Diablo, like plus to all levels. Like you can +1 to all perk levels affix. Imagine that. That would be very overpowered. I don't think I want to do that. Other underrepresented item affixes: armor penetration, increased life steal, multi-shot. There is a tiny list I have for new affixes. Maybe we'll talk about this later. The enchantment system, for example, is old right now, and it assumes you have level 50 as max. It maxes somewhere around level 48 or level 49, somewhere there. And I had the idea of refreshing that affix line for enchanting and adding their specific unique affixes, like for example plus X points of life stolen per hit or mana, or mixed versions like plus X points of life and mana stolen per hit. There are quite interesting things that could be done with this, like penetration of X point of monster DFE or resistance for an item, and the mixing of these can create interesting combinations. But I don't think I would want to limit this to the items you get from recipes. I think that would be like a waste of good ideas. And they need to be, unless they are supposed to be widely available, they need to be limited to. They need to be available on a. They need to be made more available. I'd say it that way. And that's pretty much it. Is it? Yeah, concerning removing GFMF XP items altogether. I'm not sure right now. I think they could be useful, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, I'm undecided. Experience as it is, in any case, should be much better. In fact, if you put points into perks for XP, it should allow to just gain much more pace than before. But you, in this, make a classic choice. Either you get to the end faster and less powerful, or you get there, or it will take longer, but you will arrive there more powerful, as you would have spent your perk points on actually I don't know, items available for battle. Perks that boost life, damage, accuracy, armor, and so forth. The complaints about experience here is nah. It doesn't really look like it's based on the health tree. Yeah, that's it. So it took me a while. I don't even know. I think I would just spend like half an hour, but it seems I spent around 2. What was it? Oh, I got the chat going. Sorry, I missed the chat. Have you enabled Twitch to save your stream so we can watch later? Yeah, I had that active actually, but Twitch is not my main platform. I save it to YouTube. If you press the icon on the top right, thank you for instruction. Well, let's actually do it. Settings, stream, store, past broadcast. Let's see. Settings, streams, past broadcasts. Settings, streams, viewer. I was absent for like half a year on the stream, and changed enough things to get me confused. Affiliate. I actually used to be affiliate, right? Settings. Stream manager. Stream manager. Whoa, it does look different. Manage goats. Goats? Not goals. Manage goats. I can't find this. How to create a dashboard setting stream. Create a dashboard. Settings. Stream. Where's the dashboard? Stream. Aha! Found it. Major content. No, I don't have major content, I hope. I don't have a camera, so no major content. Store past broadcasts. It's on. Alright, so I will be able to upload on YouTube. Nothing changed there. Rage River, hello. So we can ask question. Are you sure about that? Now you can. Sorry, I don't have two displays. I have only one, and then now I switched by alt tab, and now I see the chat. It's not about useful. It's just not thematic of the hell, in my opinion. Where's my butcher nerf? Ask him. We must be talking about the experience nerf. So Butcher is too attractive as a XP grab right now. I didn't tell you this. Also, I think it starts on Crucible difficulty, but I didn't tell you this. If it becomes a pandemic, I'll get it fixed. For XP and items. Well, then I'll have to check it at some point. Trust me. Yeah, I trust you. Of course I trust you. Your feedback alone had me working for a few days already. I can insert checks and on each difficulty if I do wish it so. Assign him lower monster level and that's it. That will decrease experience and that will make his items worse. Really, Uber bosses. Then it seems I just missed that. For a few days I was feeling not well and I wasn't reading. I began reading 2 days ago. 2 days ago I still just went, but well, this week I felt not well and I missed a lot of what you write in Discord. No. The Hell 2 is cannot be a part of feedback now because the experience changed a lot. I made a lot. I rewrote a lot of code concerning experience now. I removed the old. What was it? The ratio booster between monster level and character level. Like you're gonna get the same experience now for a monster. If it gives 100 experience, no matter how high level you are, you will still get this experience on him. So it's a different experience now. The experience in the Hell 3 is now a different experience. Get it? Get it? Makes me want to add like Farnham blind and and laugh. Alright, I'll find the suggestions later. Actually, well, no, I'm not going to disclose this. I wanted to mention something about Uber bosses, but later. All of this stream I just spent not in the game window, but actually in Discord. Balance comes last. First, you have to make I have to make up a list of some things I want: mechanics, features, content, and then make it work. Like I call it the ball level. First, you want to just make sure everything works as intended. You just smack the ball against the floor, and then you can just throw it in the basket. But for the game to work and be balanced, then it comes after that. First, you got to get down the basic stuff. So, I'm not sure these. I told that before actually on the stream today. I'm not sure they belong to on Doom level right now. Maybe they need to be pushed to appear much later. Those Uber bosses. They give a lot of XP, and it mostly is okay. But they create a difficulty spike on they create, technically, yes, that's what they do. They create a difficulty spike. They are too difficult for where they are. They are just way too difficult, and they are designed to just bash certain classes. Like Abaddon is easier for an archer, but he can just completely wreak havoc on a mage. On a melee class, if you just encounter in melee, he can just break your face right there. Well, yeah, there you go, Abaddon. Yeah, it told me the Ubazorian was cheese. And yeah, Uber Butcher doesn't have a room. We don't generate a room, so he roams with his pack of uglies, and yeah, too tough. I told you before, Lord of the Order is, yes, he's bad, but you're playing alone on multiplayer hard difficulty. That is a sick combination, and he that results in him having a lot of block chance, and you having a very hard time trying to just bash through that defense. I don't know the specifics, what I did exactly, but it definitely gives you a hard time the harder mode you select, because hard mode is the most difficult, and it can be excruciatingly exhaustive. Check out my English. I mean, on purpose, I made him quite difficult on hard mode, and in multiplayer you have what was it? Double hit points. His AI is more aggressive. There are less. He stops less to think about something. He just does onslaught. He has multiple attacks. He has 2 attacks, and second does double damage, I think, there. And increased accuracy. It's hard to just bash through him. Very difficult. Yes. If you had a partner and you could arrange the fight so that you would be hitting him while he moves but not stands, he would not be able to block attacks, and that would have gone much easier, I think. Well, I often write conditions like this. Let's see, it's a melee player versus monster routine, and then I make a check if that's a boss called Lord of the Order. There are certain conditions that follow that. If the, let's say, the mode is easy or Iron Man or soft iron, his block chance is 45%. So 55% of the hits will land on him. If it's hard mode, his block chance is 80%. So only 20% of your hits will land. Otherwise, else condition. His block is like, I don't know, 60 or 70. So it can be quite difficult just because he chose hard mode. Easy or Iron Man, they're quite easy. Lord of the Order is another difficulty spike. You're right about this. He was made on purpose. We just spent maybe 2 days making him, me and Dragon, back in the 2010. And if you spend some time on one monster who is just a boss randomly appearing on one level, you want to make him something that the player will remember, and we did that. So he's not. We didn't want to make him easy encounter, just something you forget quickly. That's why he ended up being quite a pain. Uh, you know what I don't like about Discord is it's easy to just not read something. Just it goes on like an endless list. It's like, for me, it's a cancer of modern internet. Those endless lists. You just keep browsing, scrolling the mouse wheel, and you can't get to certain page where there's an information you wanted. Like it was like page 17 of a forum. You know, it's just endless list, and you good luck finding it. At least you have a find function. He's fine. Lord of the Order. He's got 3 drops now at least. I have no idea how much drops he got. Maybe because you is make it so corrupt or has a less chance to spawn. His chances of spawning directly linked to the pool of monsters available at that level. Unless I add new monsters, his chance of spawning there will not decrease naturally. Or maybe something could be done, but no, actually, his chance of appearing on level 16 is directly based on the appearance there of the Corrupt Order archers. So if one archer appears on that level, if the engine just places one archer of Corrupt Order on that level, it will immediately create a boss pack with Lord of the Order leading them. That's how it works. He belongs to the so-called mixed boss packs. You know, I don't believe that making something appear less often makes it less of a threat. It's not. I don't think it's convenient to do that on stream. Look for that post and analyze it. I'll do it later, but I'll just take what's there if I need it and put on my Hellforge anvil and work with it. Usually it takes less time than discussing things. Yeah. In Andariel's placing Corrupt Paladins, I didn't even have to place a boss there. Just placing one regular monster of this type was enough to make a difficult fight for the player. In the throne level, when I add how many? 4 or 6 of them, and there are no blood fountains to restore the life loss. It was very brutal, especially in the Hell 1 where I used the assembler. That there was this NEG command where it was negate the value of which you have. So if you have 20 lives regen, it would just reverse it and make it minus 20. And that made it really difficult. But that was fun. People were writing me angry messages first when I introduced this level. Within the first month I got quite a few angry posts like, what the hell were you thinking? Just cursing and swearing at me because it was difficult to survive there. And you couldn't, there was no way of saving there. There were no modes like the Hell 2, and it was just preset condition. And they were just dying like flies. If they survived the first level, they felt like they achieved something. But then, when they just went down in the throne level, it like became 3 or 4 times harder, and I would just there was a stampede of these monsters on them. The level was small, and they were aggressive, and there was like, what was this word? The level was decreasing some stats, and there was a huge life loss to regen. And then you just arrive, make 2 steps, and then there is a bunch of succubi and 2 Lords of the Order coming at you. Or not the Lord of the Fallen Paladins in pairs. That was intense. And people would start screaming, going back. Where I also just placed things that make the combat intense for them, inconvenient, and they were just panicking, trying not to die. Those poor enough that didn't know or forgot to go to town and save after first level and died on second that way, that was pain to watch. That was just pain. I actually think I have no idea how to add these levels like these to multiplayer, but when we add this somehow, it would be fun to see that again. Unfortunately, multiplayer doesn't stop you in your tracks and just set your progress back to where you were when you just entering that level. So you can just resurrect and go back and continue from where you finished. But if there was a way to do that, that would put a lot of emotional stress. I actually did that on purpose. I wanted players to suffer and feel emotional stress. Like, these quest areas were designed to put pressure on player, and I did what I could to just do that, and in many ways it did succeed. But in multiplayer, rules are quite different. The single player's autosave feature does it as well. It takes away that pressure, and naturally, yes, player wants to take away this pressure. And sometimes if they spend a lot of time on that level and they die and it hurts and they're like, fuck Mortar, I'm just out. They quit rage, and then the day after they just fire it up and try again. Tell themselves, alright, I'm going to do this one more try. And if they succeed, they feel like, pleasure. And the dopamine rushes to their brains and they feel good about it. That isn't until they find the shit drops. And then the vicious cycle repeats itself. Well, actually, I've been streaming for a long time. I'll go back to kitchen and eat my stew. I'll upload this to YouTube right away. If you want to ask something else or just throw some curses my way, you're welcome. Do it there. See you next time.